Hi. Today, on the 24th of May, the consortium has come up with supplementary material on logical reasoning. That's what we're going to look at. It's so the like we know they have told us that they're going to release supplementary materials. Now today is 24th of May. We are going to look at the logical reasoning sample question. So when you look at logical reasoning sample test section, you see this. Passage that is given to us, and there are questions based on the passage. The difference between reading comprehension and logical reasoning is reading comprehension is merely asking this question: do you understand what is given in the passage? Okay, are you able to understand the main idea of the passage? Are you able to understand specific details of the passage? Can you look at the passage and identify meanings of words in the passage? Those kind of things is dealt in reading comprehension. In logical reasoning, what you deal with is that are you able to understand and evaluate the arguments that are presented in the passage? When you look at an argument, I'm sure you know, an argument is a set of statements wherein you are giving premises or reasons to justify a particular claim or a conclusion. That's what argument is. You're giving a set of premises to arrive at a particular conclusion. Now, when we read a logical reasoning passage, what we need to understand is what is the conclusion the author is making. So, what is the claim of the particular author, and also look at what are the premises or reason the author give to justify the claim. So, once you look at this, we can start evaluating the passage, looking at probably what is the assumption. Assumption is the thing that links your premise to the conclusion. We can also look at any additional evidences what does do to the whole passage. Additional evidences which is like, does it strengthen the claim made in the passage, does it weaken the claim made in the passage? Or we can look at, okay, if I take this to be the case, can I apply this argument to another situation? Can I do that? And all these kind of questions is basically asked in logical reasoning. The starting point, therefore, for us is that when we read this, we have to understand the conclusion or the claim that the fundamental claim the author is making, and then what are the reasons justifying that particular claim. So that is what we need to understand. So what I'll do is I'll read this passage. When I read this passage, I'm going to read it slow. I will kind of analyze this passage uh, in a little detail. In reality, in the exam point of view, when I read this, all this process happens naturally in my head, right? So that's what should happen in your case as well. But I'm going to break down the whole story. So of these four, we are looking at about a four paragraph, and this can be read in about 2.5 3 minutes. But what is important is that in the 2.5 3 minutes, how is your mind working to decipher the information that is given to you? Now it is important, ladies and gentlemen, to understand from each of this paragraph what is the idea that is being presented. What is the idea from paragraph number 1? What is the main idea of paragraph number 2? What is the main idea of paragraph number 3? What is the main idea of paragraph number 4? How are these ideas and arguments connected together? And from the overall sense of the passage, what I can understand is the main argument author is making. Is it in number 1? Is it idea number 2? Is it idea number 3? Is it idea number 2? What is the main argument, and what are the reasons the author gives to justify the argument? Right. Let's read. Let's now look at the first paragraph. It starts by saying people have always wanted answer to the big questions. Where did we come from? How did the universe begin? What is the meaning and design behind it all? So this particular part is talking about certain question that people have, and people wanted answer to all these kind of big questions. The big question: where did we come from? How did the universe begin? And okay, I should also pick this one as well. Is anyone out there? Okay, are there alien species that is there? We need answer to this question. Then all the say the creation accounts of the past now seems less relevant and credible. So now the creation account of the past is no longer relevant. So basically people are saying that that's that's not relevant anymore. They have been replaced. So what creation account has been replaced by a variety of what can only be called a superstition, ranging from science fiction book and futuristic television series. To answer to these questions is now answer is largely by science fiction books and futuristic television series, which the author claims to be superstitions. Okay. Now, author is already saying that this, in one sense, can only be called a superstition. Author is, in one sense, is kind of making a negative evaluation of that, saying that that is not actually good. That's a sense that I get. But use the word "but" here. That's a good pivot. These kind of words are important. And then you see the next sentence: real science can be far stranger than science fiction and much more satisfying. Now here what we see, the idea immediately, we see that to answer all the big questions, the answer to the big question, when you have all these big questions, answer the big question, author is making, saying that real science is actually much more satisfying. In that sense, real science is much more satisfying, and actually real science is actually stranger than science fiction. Science fiction, if real science gives you better this thing than science fiction. That's what our takeaway from paragraph number 1 is. Let's look at what is paragraph number 2 saying. I am a scientist. Now you have to wonder why author said that. I am a scientist, basically making a case. I am a scientist, and a scientist with a deep fascination with physics, cosmology, the universe, and the future of humanity. I was brought up by my parents to have an unwavering curiosity, and like my father, to research and try to answer the many questions that science asks us. I have spent my life traveling across the universe inside my mind. Through theoretical physics, I have, so basically specifically about theoretical physics there, I have sought and to answer some of the great questions. Okay. So that's author is actually making a case that the author is the for this big question. So for the big question that is here, from what the author is trying to do is try and find out answers through theoretical physics, or let's say the theoretical physics, or let's say to science, those big questions. I have sought to answer some of the great questions. At one point, I thought I would see the end of physics as we know it, but I think the wonder of discovery will continue long after I am gone. The wonder of discovery will continue long after I am gone. We are close to some of these answers, but we are not there yet. Author is saying that through science, the act of the big question, we are close. Let's look at that science in one sense of close, but not there yet. I'm kind of saying the journey still continues, right? So already you can see the connection between paragraph number 1 and 2. Big question. People are now looking at things like science fictions and other stuff. But wait, the real science can actually be more satisfying. I have done it. I've spent my life on it. Yeah, so now I understand that discovery is going to continue after after I die. It's still going to continue. We are not there yet. We'll still have to find answer to some of these questions. We are close, but not there yet. Okay, now the next paragraph author starts by talking about a problem. Okay, so what is the problem? Okay, what is the problem here? Why is author looking at this, and the people looking at something like science fiction and futuristic television series? Most people now author is now saying that there is a problem with most people believe. So there's an issue. Most people's believe. Okay, let's say it doesn't matter. Okay, most people believe. Let me put it that way. Most people believe. Okay, what do they believe? That real science is too difficult and complicated for them to understand. And then so most people believe is a real science difficult. Okay, and the author is pivoting and saying again the word I can see, but I don't think it's a case. Real science is actually not difficult. So to do research on fundamental laws that govern the universe would require a commitment of time that most people don't have. The world would soon grind to halt if you all try to do fundamental theoretical physics. Author is saying that if everybody try to do theoretical physics is a problem, and if you want to do theoretical physics like how I do, then you need a lot of time. But there's a key thing that you can see here as well. Most people can understand and appreciate the basic ideas if they are presented in a clear way without equations, which I believe is possible, and which is something I have enjoyed to do throughout my life. So author's solution to this problem. So the author is saying that there is this problem, an author solution to that problem, which is the main theme of that particular solution to the problem, is to kind of saying that don't have equations, make it very clear, kind of simplify the whole idea. That's what it is. So if you can simplify the whole idea, the issue that is given in first paragraph will not happen. That people are looking at science fiction books and physics television, they'll come to science because science itself is very fascinating. Just that you have to give it in a simplified manner. And let's look at last paragraph. It has been a glorious time to be alive and doing research in theoretical physics. Our picture of the universe has changed a great deal in the last 15 years, and I'm happy to have made a contribution. So author is now uh, appreciating himself. Awesome. One of the great revelations, so now he is talking about the great revelation of the space age, is that has been the perspective it has given humanities on ourselves. The space age now is here is talking something specific. Here talking about idea number 4 is talking about space age, and the space age great revelation. It has given humanity. When we see Earth from the space, we see ourselves as a whole. We see unity, not the division. It's such a simple image with a compelling message: one planet, one human race. The space age is given a lot of perspective. We can actually see the Earth from a distance. When you look at the Earth from a distance, you can actually look at the Earth and say that we are one, kind of a thing. A simple idea, okay, simple passage. But when you leave this passage, I think that in your head, or you can even mark. In the question paper, you can actually underline the key things that is there. So, but I think that is what it is. I think the simple idea. First thing, there are big questions where people kind of replace the creation account with something that I would call superstition and science fiction books and stuff. But according to me, real science is actually more satisfying. I have done it. I know that the journey is going to continue, and we are not there yet. But I understand why you think that you're replacing, you're not looking at science, because for most people real science is very difficult. What is the solution? I have it. Give it to them in a simple fashion. Don't give them an equation. Don't confuse them, and then they will really appreciate. Look what we have done with space age, for example. It has actually given humanity a complete different perspective of a simple image that gave a compelling message that we are one planet, one human race. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we can see in this particular paragraph. Right. Now let's start looking at one by one. Which of the following is the author most likely to agree with? Once you understand in this sense, most of the time you can answer the question kind of pick me. When I say I answer pick me, is that I pick me answer is I don't really have to go back to the passage and answer. Let's look at each one. The world would run more efficiently if all of us try to do theoretical physics. If you're going to do this, author will commit suicide. है ना? The author has clearly said that exactly the opposite here. The world will come to a halt if you all try to do theoretical physics. You can't mark this question, right? If some scientific theories were presented in simple manner, more people understand them. Absolutely the case, right? So there's no doubt that this, ladies and gentlemen, is the right answer choice. Some people in the simple manner. Okay. Now look at this one. Most people are not interested in knowing big question. What do you mean? This is also suicide option. Okay, most people are actually. People always wanted to answer to big question. That's what the author says. So this can directly contradict. Most scientists do not understand physics. Okay, these are all B. Very clearly B. Let's look at on point 2. Which in the following most accurately reflects the author's view on science fiction books and futuristic television series, etc. on the past? Now, this is a very specific question. Science fiction books and futuristic television series, or what can only be called a superstition? The answer is right there. We have to look at something that says according to author, it is actually not based on something. It may be something related to superstition, rather than something else. Let's look at it. Is extremely entertaining. So the word, first of all, you had this word extremely entertaining. Author never makes us claim that, and all of us should read. All this definitely states this read such book. So nothing of the sort is mentioned. That there's a should read such book. Author is not mentioned. They are very educational. Where author is not mentioned, can act as a substitute. Again, suicide as an option, because author has said that so real science is actually far more stranger and satisfying. C, they are based on irrational and supernatural idea. That makes sense. Irrational and supernatural ideas can be a synonym to the word superstition. That's good. And have replaced old myths, which is fine. The creation accounts are those old myths, creation accounts about how the world came to be. I don't know how many of you can understand the creation accounts of the past. Creation account is like God created universe. That's a creation account, right? It has been created. Creation account means the world is created. Somebody created the world, or God created the world. Actually, C makes sense. You can also eliminate the rest of them and say that that's correct. D, they are often expensive, whereas nothing about expense is actually mentioned. Or this is very easy to eliminate. Answer choice number A, B, and D. Very clearly, answer choice C is the right answer choice here. Let's look at 1.3. A scientist has just made a breakthrough discovery in theoretical physics and thinks that everyone should know about it. So everyone should know about it. What get triggered? Obviously, this particular paragraph, that problem, author has given a solution. Most people can understand, appreciate the basic idea if they are presented clear without an equation. That's what it is. She has prepared a technical essay which explains the theory using complicated mathematical equation. Oh, problem, and difficult scientific term. Which of the following would the author most likely suggest her? Simplify it. That's what. That's it. That's it. Very clearly here. She should simplify the language in the essay and avoid using equation. Exactly that particular idea that is there. Answer choice number A is right. Let's look at B. She should present the paper as it is. No way. Suicide option. Author says that that's a problem, first of all, because of the complication. She should add some more illustration to this. Illustration is not what specifically author has mentioned. That could be a clear way to represent. They are present a clear way. Okay, that could be an illustration. But one other thing is without the equation, so that is not addressed here. This specifically illustration is not something author addressed here. So that's kind of too narrow as an idea that is present in the passage. Okay, so she should remove some key. So some is what? Some key piece of information from the essay, so that people have tried to figure out the answer for themselves. Obviously, not the case. This is not a question. It's not a CLAT question. No, I have done something. I'm now going to give a CLAT question. Okay, friends, what is? I'm going to give you. This is the science. E equal to MC what? Okay, no, no. Answer choice A is very, very clear. 1.4. Which of the following if true? Now, if true. Now, whenever if true, now I'm on think additional evidences that is present to be. I have to take these two things to be true. If A is true, what is going to happen? If B is true, what is going to happen? So, evaluation most weaken the author's argument in the passage above, whether most people would be interested in understanding scientific ideas. Whether most people would be interested in understanding scientific ideas. Author says that people always wanted answer to big questions. So, people are interested in big ideas. So, we have to now attack that thing that by saying that people are not really interested in this big question. People are not. That would weaken the whole argument. People does not actually care about all these things. That will weaken. Most people are only interested in things immediate concern to them, and they do not care about larger issue. If they do not care about larger issue, very clearly it attacks the basic claim that is made by the author. Therefore, by virtue of it attacking, that would be an answer. Okay, A would be right. So let's really this would weaken. Let me put weaken. You have to pick the one that weakens. Most people will try would be willing and understand scientific idea if they are presented in the manner that is easier to understand. This actually strengthen what is mentioned in the passage, right? So actually exactly says what the passage wants says here. So you're looking at this, we are looking at which of the following weakens. Answer choice A would be the right answer. This one weakens, B strengthens. That would be the answer to that question. And let's look at 1.5 here. The author says that one of the great revelation of the space age has been the perspective it has given humanity on ourselves. This one, where is it? One of the great. So we would want to look at that discussion is here. So answer would be right there. Okay, answer would be right there. We have to just look at what that is. Which of the following, if true, would most strongly support this statement? We are looking at something that, if true, we have to take this statement to be true. Okay, now always is allowed. Okay, usually I will uh, kind of look at this extreme statement and negate in other cases. Okay, but in this case it is allowed because we have to take each statement to be true. If A is true, would it support? If B is true, will it support? If C is true, will it support? If D is true, will it support? Basically the whole idea supports the idea that when we see earth from the space, we see ourselves as a whole. We see unity and not the division. It is as a simple way. So basically saying that one of the great revelations of the space is, I think, the perspective it has given. uh, uh, so we can now see earth from the whole. The space age revealed the earth from space. That's the case. If humanity has always regarded ourselves as a whole, if humanity has always regarded ourselves as a whole, this kind of weakens the claim that is making. No, because what is said here, what is said very clearly here, it is the space age that has revealed the ourselves, that we see as a whole. The space age revealed it. The space age revealed it. So to say the humanity has always regarded ourselves as a whole, that kind of contradicts, because here it says space age revealed the whole thing. So therefore, this is not the answer. Before we saw Earth from the space, humanity never seen. Now, if this is true, imagine this to be true. If it is true that before we saw Earth, humanity never seen itself as a whole, and this definitely support this particular claim. So here, never is allowed. Please understand this. We are looking at if true, if that is statement true. If it is true that before we saw Earth on the same, humanity never seen as a whole, then it makes a lot of sense to say that it is a revelation. So therefore, space age actually revealed it. So that kind of supports. C. Historically, people have never noticed the difference between themselves, but these become apparent. Never notice differences between themselves, and these become apparent. Differences became apparent. Actually, this one contradicts what is mentioned in the passage. This kind of contradicts, right, or weakens what is given. It doesn't support, right, because we see unity, not the divisions. These divisions become apparent once we saw Earth from the space. That contradicts what is given. We don't see divisions now. Humanity cannot comprehend meaning the behind the image of Earth seen from space. If humanity cannot comprehend, how can it reveal? right? So therefore, this is not the answer choice. Ladies and gentlemen, B is answer choice. So again, the key thing here is to look at the passage, understand the passage from this angle, looking at the claim. Once you get the claim, you see that most of the question you really don't have to go back to the passage, and you should be able to answer the question. So there you go. Thank you.